What's going on, everybody? It's Friday, so let's talk PlayStation. A lot of news to cover this week, guys, so let's get right into it. The guys over at Only Single Player noticed that Sony made a couple of new trademarks recently, one for being Rain and one for being Until Dawn, which are being listed as video game software. So basically, two new games called Rain and Until Dawn, possibly, maybe code names, but if they're trademarks, then they're probably not code names. But two new games. However, what we can take away from this is Rain and Until Dawn seem to be new IPs. These seem to be new games out of nowhere, not from existing franchises like God of War or Little Big Planet. So Sony always bringing in the new IPs. New IPs are always great for the industry, and they're always fun to explore and get, just new games, man. That's what it's all about. And keeping it up with Little Big Planet news, looks like Little Big Planet Karting also has a release date finally. November 7th for the United States and the 9th for Europe. So look forward to that. If you love playing Uncharted 3, then good news for you, because patch 1.13 is out and it has a whole bunch of new stuff. Aside from the regular bug fixes, there's also a ton of new content that Naughty Dog's put into the game. So from the looks of it, this patch has laid out a good baseline for weekly DLC that we're going to be getting for the game, and there's also a sniper game mode that's getting added, and there's also a new tournament system. Players are going to be given gifted 10 tickets. Tickets can enter you into the tournament, and if you run out of tickets, you can purchase more tickets with real, dollar money, and you can enter in some Uncharted 3 tournaments. And aside from other things, it looks like a shitload of new trophies are getting added. The multiplayer has like a crap load of trophies, and I think they're over at like 50 trophies now for just multiplayer, which is pretty much matching the amount of single-player trophies that are in the game as well. So, shit, like over 100, like, Uncharted 3 trophies at this point. Jesus Christ, Naughty Dog. You rock. And it looks like we're getting more and more bad news about The Last Guardian. Apparently the trademark that Sony registered with, The Last Guardian has basically been abandoned. If you go to the status on the government website of the patents or whatever the hell you want to call it, because I don't know that legal shit, under the classification section or status or whatever, it says that it's abandoned and it's not in use and they haven't proven to be using it and all that sort of crap. So the whole internet is pretty much a buzz right now. It's like, is this game going to get canceled or is it still in development or what? I mean, the game hasn't really been getting some good press recently. I mean, the game's director left the project. The game hasn't been seen at any of these shows like E3 or all that. It's getting delayed. Not good press for, The Last Guardian. It looks like, I don't know, guys. I want it to come to fruition. I love the idea of The Last Guardian. Games like Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, they're great artsy games and they're beautiful and they're vast and they're wonderful. And all sorts of compliments I can't think of right now. They're good games and I want to see The Last Guardian come out, but man, it's just disappointing to read stuff like this. Hopefully the game hopefully it's still alive. And in some more not-so-great news, it looks like Shuhei Yoshida, the worldwide studios president of Sony, has said in a recent interview with PlayStation Magazine that it's been getting rather difficult to get third-party developers to develop for the PlayStation Vita. He says, and I quote, "We're having a more difficult time than we had anticipated in terms of getting support from third-party publishers, but that's our job." Not good news. Although I can kind of see where this is coming from. I mean, it is kind of hard to get a publisher to get on board with the PlayStation Vita. Sales aren't proving well, and there's not really, good games coming out for the system to move more units to begin with, other than Call of Duty Black Ops that's going to be coming out and Assassin's Creed 3. Those are some good blockbuster games that are going to be coming out, like Little Big Planet Vita and stuff like that. But, sales are slow, and it's really hard to convince a publisher to get on board with a system that's purely dedicated to handhelds. At the end of the day, we still all have iPhones and Android phones that are selling 99-cent apps, and, developers can just make so much more money on those platforms, so I can see where they're coming from in this area. I'm still optimistic about the PlayStation Vita. It's just going to take a couple more quality games. It's going to take a little bit of time. Like I said, Sony's never really good out of the gate with their system, so it just takes a little bit of time for maturity. Oh, and a reminder, guys, Metal Gear Solid 4 trophies are out now, so if you put the disc in your PlayStation 3, start it up, download the patch, Metal Gear Solid 4's trophies. 30-something trophies with a platinum. Pretty awesome. And if you didn't notice in the background of this video, I don't know if you were able to see it, I am in the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale beta. You guys should be checking your email. They sent out a bunch of new codes to people to invite them into the private beta. So, start playing it, guys. Tell me what you think. I had 2 battles before I did this show, and, I don't know what the MPD is. I don't think I can talk about it. I don't know. Screw it, no one's gonna see this anyway. At least from Sony. It was fun. I'll probably talk about that more in another video. And lastly, to end off the show, I want to pose a question to you guys. One person commented on last week's Let's Talk PlayStation, and he basically said below, how come PlayStation systems just don't sell like they used to? I mean, PlayStation 1 sold over 100 million units, PlayStation 2 sold over 150 million units. I think it still is the top-selling console of all time ever. It might have got eclipsed by the Nintendo DS, but no matter what, it's the top selling console of all time. But then PlayStation 3 came out, and then it was just, a wreck at that point. PSP did phenomenal, in my opinion. Compared to the DS, it wasn't so good, but, 60 million units is more than the Xbox 360, so that's good. But he asked, how come PlayStation systems just don't sell like they used to? My response to that question would be, a number of factors have went into that. One being that Sony was a year late with the PlayStation 3. And the Xbox 360 came out with achievements, and Xbox Live, and in-game chat, and all this messaging and stuff, and it was a great online experience, and it really, really pushed gamers, That's an entire year that people could have gotten another next-generation system and doing that next-generation online gaming. And they lost a lot of PlayStation fans to that. I still know a lot of PlayStation faithfuls that are still, they're just so committed to Xbox now because they're Xbox Live tag. They've got all those friends, they've got all those achievements, they've got all that history behind that tag, and that extra year is probably what did it. But aside from that, PlayStation 3 was $600, when it launched, and a $500 model, which isn't really exactly that much cheaper. Not a lot of games to support the system, that is never good either. There's like a lot of factors that go into it, and I think it's just they just dropped the ball when it came to PlayStation 3, and that really gave Sony a really massive hit for their fans. I mean, at the end of the day, products got to be affordable. So, I mean, that, that's definitely what did it. And they were a little bit slow out of the gate. And then here we are, struggling with PlayStation Vita, and that's got problems too. That's got a little bit of lack of support and stuff like that. But keep in mind, there's still, a very heavy PlayStation crowd, and PlayStation 3 is still doing really good. It's almost about to outsell Xbox 360 in total sales. Took them a while, but even with that year head start, Sony did come back a little bit. But at the end of the day, children and families bought Wii's, and then they destroyed, the competition. But I can't really respect those numbers when not many gamers, keep playing Wii nowadays. But, But what's your opinion? Why do you think Sony systems just don't sell like they used to? I want to hear your thoughts. And that wraps up today's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. Thanks for talking with me, guys, and see you next Friday.